Hey everyone, welcome to Charger Games. This is Raja. So probably you guys are seeing me after a lot of days because I haven't made a video for a lot of days. So in this video, we're gonna finally learn how to build your very first Android game. Now you guys will say that I have made a lot of videos about that, but a lot of those things probably don't work anymore. So this is completely new, okay? So in this tutorial, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you from beginning how to set up your development environment, how to set up your mobile and all that stuff. And then I'm going to show you how to build your first game. That's going to be very simple. Maybe it's going to be a very, very simple, super simple game, but whatever it is, I'm going to show you how to convert it into an APK and run it on your real Android device. Okay. So it's going to be a complete stuff, but whatever it is, it's going to be very, very simple. Okay. We're going to do it very simply. So if you're interested to learn more, and if you're interested to learn by building actually real games, then you can check out some of my courses. I have some of my Android game development courses here. In this course, you can learn how to build 2D and 3D games, and here are some of the games that you will create: 3D zigzag game, taffy ball game, Fruit Ninja, Click Football, Infinite Runner, and all that stuff. And here's another course where you can build all these games along with all these Android apps. Okay, so if you're interested in learning more and building projects, you can definitely check out these courses from the link in the description below, or from the link that goes on the screen right now. Okay, so with that being said, let us go ahead and keep learning. Okay, so very first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say that we're gonna use Unity game engine. If you guys don't know, so we're gonna use Unity game engine to build our games. So the very first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and download and install Unity. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to Google and search for download Unity, and here's the very first link that comes up which says Unity download. And if you go to the Unity homepage, you can just click on Get Unity and you will go to this Unity download page. Okay. And if it's already downloaded in your computer, you can definitely skip this step. So as you can see here, it says choose your Unity plus download. So click on that. And here it will show you different packages that it has. It has this personal edition, plus, pro, and enterprise. But whatever we're gonna do, all that will be, the personal edition will be enough for that. Okay, so we can do everything with the personal edition. So let's go ahead and click on this download now button, and as you can see, personal edition will be downloaded. Now you can click on this download installer and just download the installer from which you can download any stuff that you want, but there are definitely other ways to do it. If you go down below and click on these older versions of Unity, if you just click on that, it will open in a new page, and here you can see that here, if I click on this any of these downloads, you can see I have all these downloads separately. Okay, so if I want to download the installer only, I can do that. If I want to download the standard assets or example projects or anything, I can do that. Okay, so here we have all these things separately. So you can either download the installer and install it, or you can go here and download all this stuff separately. Okay, no problem, both of them are the same. So let me go ahead to the download installer and click on download installer, and it's gonna be downloaded quickly. So let's go ahead and download it. As you can see, it has been downloaded. So let me go ahead and click to open it. Yes. Next. Okay, so it is asking me to accept the license agreements, but there is no license agreement. Okay, so here it goes. So I need to click on accept and then click on next. Now you can do 34-bit, 32-bit, or 64-bit depending on your operating systems. If you have a 64-bit OS, then definitely go for 64-bit. Click on next. Now here's the most important part. This is the place where you actually choose which components you want to install. Okay, now definitely you want to install the Unity editor, because this is must. Okay, and the Windows build support comes by default with Unity Editor. Okay, and these are the additional stuff that you want to download. As an example, as you can see, this Android build support, and we need to definitely download that because we are going to build it for Android. So if you don't download this Android build support, you won't be able to export your games to Android. Okay, and other stuff, you can just uncheck this example project if you don't need it, and if you can uncheck this iOS build support. So the most important two things that we need are this Unity Editor and this Android build support. Other than that, we also need these standard assets because there are a lot of important stuff that we need in case of building our games that are available inside these standard assets. So if you want to install these standard assets later, you can definitely install it, but the Unity and Android build support are the most important parts. Okay, and the documentation is where you have information about all the classes and functions and all the stuff that Unity has to offer. So you can install it and look at it whenever you want, or you can just go to docs.unity3d.com and access it online. Okay, so once you have done that, you can just click on next, and here, as you can see, here we have again two options. So when you are downloading the files, you can either download them to a temporary location, or you can download them to a specific location. So if you download them to this temporary location, what will happen is after they have been downloaded, those tools will be automatically installed and they will be automatically removed. So later, if you want to install it somewhere else, install it on somewhere else, you won't be able to do that. Okay, so my advice will be to download it to a location so that it will be saved there, and if you want to install later, you can install it later. Okay, and here you need to give the folder where you want to install it. You can leave it in C or D or whatever you want. So next, you can just click on next, and all this stuff will be installed. And once this stuff will be installed, we need to go and download all the stuff that you need for our Android build. Okay, so once you have actually installed Unity, next thing we need to do is we need to install the stuff that we need for developing for Android. Okay, so for developing for Android, we need two specific things. One is Android SDK and the JDK, that is Java Development Kit. Okay, so we need to download, install, and set up those stuff. Okay, so let's get started. So I'm gonna go to Google and again search for download JDK, and you can just click on the very first link that comes up here, and as you can see here, the JDK download page will be open. Let me close this stuff. So as you can see, again, we have two different options. One is the Java platform, the JDK, and another is NetBeans. But in this case, we will need only the JDK because we don't need NetBeans. We're not gonna learn Java. We're gonna learn to build Android games with Unity. Okay, so just click on this Java, and on the next page, as you can see here, we have different options. So you're gonna click on this Java SE Development Kit. Okay, and click on this accept license agreement, otherwise you won't be able to download them. So click on accept, and depending on your operating system, you can download any of this stuff. If you're on Windows, you can download this 64-bit version. If you're on Mac, you can download this one, and if you're on Linux, you can download this stuff. Okay, so once you have downloaded and installed JDK, make sure to remember the path wherever you have installed it. Okay, by default, the path will be in C, program files, Java, JDK. So this is the default path, but if you have installed it in some other place, make sure to remember that because we definitely need that. Okay, so once you have installed this JDK, now what we need to do is we need to tell Windows that we have installed JDK and we want to set the path of the JDK so that whenever we access it from other applications, we can find the JDK here. Okay, so to do that, you need to go to inside this JDK folder, and here, as you can see, this bin folder we have, just go inside the bin, and just right click on any of these and click on properties. And as you can see here, we have the location. So we need the location where this stuff is saved, okay? Or we need the location of the JDK. So what you can do is you can just select this thing and just copy this thing, okay? So we now have this location, so we can just paste it whenever we need to specify the location anywhere. So cancel it. Now what we need to do is we need to go to our computer, or my computer, or this PC, depending on the OS you are using, and then click on, and then right click here, go to properties, and then go to advanced system settings, and here you can see something called environment variables. Just click on that. Now we need to create 2 new environment variables, okay? So click new, and here we're gonna say path, and for the variable value I'm gonna paste the value that we have got from there, okay? So this is the actual location of the JDK, and then click OK, and then again click new, and this time turn on your caps lock and write in capitals Java _ home, and then for the variable value paste it, and then just remove the bin from right here, okay? So click OK. So we have added 2 new environment variables. One is path, another is Java home. The path is with bin, the Java home is without bin, okay? So once you have done that, click on OK, OK, and we have done everything. We have set up our JDK. So the next thing we need to do is we need to download and install the Android SDK, which is the main thing that we require to build for Android, okay? So we're gonna do that next. Okay, so just like the JDK for the Android SDK as well, we need to go to Google and download. We need to go to Google and write download Android SDK, because Google is our god and we can't do anything without it. So just go to Google and write download. Oops, I haven't turned off my caps. Android SDK, and just click on the very first link that comes up. So here's our Android SDK download page, and what is the strange thing that we'll see is whenever you open, you will see that it is asking you to download Android Studio, but we don't need to download Android Studio because we are not developing Android apps. But if you're interested, you can definitely download that, because when you install this Android Studio, it automatically comes with Android SDK. But we don't need that, so we're not going to download that. We're going to download only the Android SDK. So what you need to do is you need to just come down below the page, below at the end, and if this page changes anytime, you will see that it is always on the bottom of the page, okay? So you just need to come on the bottom of the page and you can see this SDK only tools. So here, as you can see, it says SDK tools package. This means here we have only the Android SDK. We don't have the Android Studio, IDE or anything, okay? So depending on your operating system, you can just click on this and download that. If you're on Windows, Mac or Linux, download that specific file. I'm on Windows, so I'm gonna go ahead and download that. I need to select the terms of conditions, agree, and read it. I'm just kidding, don't read it. Then click on this download tools. And as you can see, it is going to be downloaded in this folder. I'm not going to download that because I have already downloaded. So once you have done that, once you have downloaded that, now comes the real stuff. Now we need to set it up, because the setup has been really changed a lot. So in my Android SDK tools, I have these tools downloaded. So this is the Android SDK tools that we have downloaded. So what you need to do is, first of all, you need to extract it. So extract to tools and wait for it to get extracted. I'm so silly to extract it in front of you guys and make you guys embarrassed. I'll probably speed it up or cut this part. Let's see. Okay, so the files have been extracted. So here inside the tools folder, you can see this tools folder and inside the tools folder, you can see all that stuff. So previously what happened is that previously we just needed to give the link to this tools folder to Unity, and Unity would automatically recognize this. But this setup process has been changed a little. So now it doesn't work like that. Okay, so we need to work a little. So inside the tools folder, you can see here we have this lib folder. Okay, lib is short for library. So if you click on this lib folder and go below, you can see here we have this SDK manager. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to copy this SDK manager, go back to our previous tools folder and paste it right there. So as you can see, now we have this SDK manager in our tools folder. Okay, so if you don't copy this, then it's not gonna work. So you need to copy it here. Then what you need to do is, as you can see, the very first file here is called Android, and here you can see it says Windows batch file. That means it's android.bat. If you click on properties, it's android.bat. Okay, so what you need to do is you need to go ahead and double click this android.bat, and what you will see is magically this SDK manager runs. So if you try to double click on this SDK manager, you will see that it doesn't run. Okay, so what you need to do is you need to go ahead and double click on this android.bat, and by some magic, SDK manager runs. Okay, so this is the fun of being a programmer. You do something else and something else happens and you don't know whatever the heck is going on. Okay, but this is the way by which you have to do it. So by default, you will see that Android SDK tools has been downloaded, and if it is not updated, you just select that and update that. But the most important stuff is you need to download and install these platform tools and this SDK build tools. Okay, both of these are very important. Without these platform tools, you won't be able to do anything. So make sure to check both of these things if it is unchecked, and then click on install. You don't need to install 11 packages because there are a lot of extra packages that are checked right here. You don't need all those stuff, but you should definitely download both of these things. But if you have some time and if you have a faster internet connection, you can definitely download all these packages, but because later we may need these things. Okay, so you can go ahead and download all this stuff. So once you have downloaded all this stuff and once you have installed that, what would happen is your SDK manager will be updated. Okay, so your SDK manager will be updated, and now you will be in a position to link these things to Unity. Okay, so we're gonna do that next. Okay, so as you can see, all the stuff has been downloaded here. So whenever you download, you can see it is recommending you to download a lot of stuff, but you shouldn't download all this stuff, but you should download the minimum things that are required. The minimum things are the Android SDK tools, the Android SDK platform tools, the SDK build tools. From here, you need to download the Android SDK platform, and if you're interested, you can also download this Google USB driver. This is checked by default because you may need this while testing it via USB on your device. Okay, so you should definitely download at least these 4 or 5 things. Okay, Android SDK tools, platform tools, build tools, SDK platform, and this Google USB driver. But currently I'm not going to download this stuff because I have already downloaded this stuff in some other places, so I'm not going to download it from here. So once it's done, just exit from here. So now if you go inside the place where you have your tools, you will see that now we don't only have the tools folder, we also have this platform tools and this build tools and all that stuff. Okay, so what you need to do is in Unity, you need to give the link to this tools folder. Okay, because here is the place where we have all this stuff. In my case, I have it installed inside my Android SDK folder. So as you can see inside this Android SDK folder, I have all this stuff, these platforms, platform tools, and all this stuff. So I'm gonna give link to this Android SDK folder. But in your case, if you have installed it inside this tools folder, you should give link to this tools folder, and you can also rename it to anything you want. Okay, let's say I just copy and paste it here. Okay, it would take a lot of time, so you don't need to copy and paste it. You can just rename it to anything you want. Let's say you rename it to Android SDK or something, and then you give its link to Unity so that later you don't have any problem while actually setting it up. So now what we need to do is we need to go back to Unity and set up this thing. So now let us open up Unity. Let me modify this out of here. Okay, so in Unity, you need to go to here and create a new project, or if you want to do any other project, you are free to do so. And here, I'm gonna say Android test, and then create project. So let this build. And here we have our project. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to File and click on Save Scenes. And I'm going to name this scene our level 1 or something, or you can name it anything you want. If we don't save this scene, then we won't be able to build this. Okay. So the next thing we should do is, if you don't have the Android module installed, if you don't have this Android module installed, then if you go to File, Build Settings, here you will see no Android. Okay, so if you don't see this, make sure to install the Android module from the Unity installer that I show you in the beginning. Okay, so before we can actually build to Android, what you need to do is we need to select Android from here and click on Switch Platform. Okay, and now as you can see here, our current platform is set as Android. But in your Unity editor, if you haven't set up JDK and Android SDK, then probably you won't be able to do that. Okay, so let's do that now. To set up JDK and Android SDK and connect it to your Unity editor, what you need to do is you need to go to Edit and then click on Preferences and then go to External Tools. And in the External Tools, you will see that we have two locations for JDK and SDK. And as you can see, in my case, all of these things are set up, but in your case, it may not be. So for the JDK, just click on Browse and go to the position wherever you have installed your JDK. So you can go to C, Program Files, Java, JDK, and just click on Select Folder. Unity may detect it automatically, but if it doesn't, then just go here and do that. And for the Android SDK, you will do the same thing. In my case, I will go to E and Android SDK, E and Android SDK. This is where I have my Android SDK set up. But in your case, the name of the folder might not be Android SDK, it may be Tools. So you can go to Browse and go to wherever you have installed it. Let's say in Tools folder. So you need to select this folder and click on Select Folder, okay? Because inside it you have installed all this Android stuff. So once you have done that, as you can see, currently both of these are linked, and if it is not there, then you can definitely download it from here, and Unity will automatically give you options to download. Okay, so now close that. So now if you try to go File, Build Settings and click on Switch Platform, you can see that it will be switched to Android. Okay, so the next thing to do is, as you can see, when we are in Android, we can select different resolutions from here. Okay, so we will select this WVGA portrait, okay, and just make the scale smaller so that it looks like this. Okay, So now it looks like a mobile device, and make sure to save that whenever you make some changes. Okay. And now the next thing to do is we can create any small thing in this scene so that our scene is not empty. Currently, as you can see, the scene is completely empty. So I can go ahead and create 3D object and create a cube here. So this is the cube. If you cannot see the cube, just go ahead, select the cube, go to its transform and click on reset, and you will be able to see it in the scene view. Okay. So now, since we have actually set up Unity and we have connected it to Android SDK and JDK, now the next thing to do is we need to install something called Unity Remote. Now it is optional, it is not completely mandatory, but if we use Unity Remote, we will be able to test it directly in our device when we are building it. Okay, so we don't need to we don't need to build it to APK, put it in our device and install it every single time. We can test it while just building it on Unity. Okay, so that is why using Unity Remote is really recommended. So to install Unity Remote, what you need to do is you need to go to Google Play Store. So you need to go to Google Play Store to download Unity. Now, currently I'm going to show you how I download it from my device. So here's my device and I'm going to go to Google Play Store. And I'm not going to see any of this. So for example, you can just download, you can just type Unity Remote, search for that. And as you can see here, we have different options. From these options, I'm going to select Unity Remote 5. And as you can see, in my case, it has been already installed. So that is why it is giving me option to open it. But in your case, if you haven't installed it, you can just click on install and it will be installed. So once you have installed it, just click on open. And as you can see, this is Unity Remote that is opening right here. Now, before doing anything, I want to say you one more thing. I want to say you to do one more thing, without which Unity will never detect Unity Remote. Okay, so that is you need to enable something called developer options in your mobile device. So if you go to settings in your device, in my case settings looks like this. In your device it may be different kind of UI or different Android version, so your settings may look different. So whatever the settings is, just click on this settings. And if you go to the bottom, as you can see, in my case, I have this developer option right here. As you can see here, I have this developer option. Okay, but in your case, you might not have this developer options enabled. So to enable it, what you need to do is you need to go to this About Phone tab, the last one. And the last version, as you can see, it says build number. So what you need to do is you need to go to this build number and just press it a couple of times. And as you can see, in my case, it says no need for that because you are already a developer, because I have already enabled it. But in your case, it is not enabled. So you need to tap on it a couple of times. And after some time, you will see that you are now a developer. And then when you return, you will see the developer options right here. So now what you need to do is you need to go to this developer options and just check this USB debugging. Okay, check this USB debugging. Without this USB debugging, we won't be able to test it using Unity Remote. Okay, so this is must. This is very important. So once you have done that, we are completely ready to test our game on Android device. So now let's return. And now again open our Unity Remote. So now what we need to do is we need to connect it to our computer by USB cable. So as you can see here, I have my USB cable. So I'm gonna connect that. So one end I'm gonna attach it to my, one end I'm gonna attach it to my mobile device. And for the other end, I'm gonna connect it to my computer. So I have done that. Now it is connected to my computer. So now what we need to do is, if I go back to Unity, what I need to do is we need to do one more setup. If you take a look at our Unity remote right here, let me close that. If you take a look at our Unity remote right here, you can see it says you need to go to Edit, Project Settings and Editor, and from there select any Android device. Okay, so from here we can go to Edit, Project Settings, Editor, and as you can see here we have this Unity remote option, and down below we have this device option. So from the device we can select any Android device. So now what will happen is it will detect any Android device automatically, and Unity remote will run on it automatically. So now let me show you what happens whenever I click on run. As you can see, this window shows a snapshot of my mobile device. Let me make it full. So let me go ahead and click on run right here. And it will take some time before it runs, because it will take some time. And when it runs, as you can see in my mobile device, it is also shown because we have installed Unity remote. And if you can't see it here, let me show that to you right in the device. Oops, what happened? Okay, let me make it full screen. Okay, so if you can't see it here, let me show that to you currently in my device. Here we have Unity remote open. Okay, so as you can see here we have Unity remote open and it is running. So in my editor, in my Unity editor, if I make any changes, you will see that the change will be affected to the remote automatically. So let me go and move to a new layout. Let's say defaults. So now you will see that if I select the cube and move it, okay, I think the change is not getting detected because it is in 3D mode. Okay, so because it is in 3D mode, the change is not getting detected. So now if I run it, and I go ahead and delete this cube. Okay, so it's not getting updated actually. So I need to update it manually or what? Okay, so I can see it in my device, but probably because of this mirroring device, you cannot see it correctly. So whatever you have seen, you can see that whenever I run something, I do something, I can see that directly in my Unity remote. Okay, so that's the most important thing. So that's why we have installed Unity remote, so that whenever we do something, we can see that in our device. Okay, so the next thing we have to do is, we have done all the things. We have done all the setup. We have installed Android SDK, JDK. We have installed it, and we have done Unity remote setup. So the next thing we need to do is we need to build an APK of our game and install it on our device. So we're going to do that next. So if you go to, let us move back to 2x3 layout. So if you go to File, Build Settings, and while selecting the Android, you need to click on this Add Open Scenes. So now we will see that our level 1 scene has been added to build. That means now whenever we build an APK file or build an Android game, it will be automatically built into that. So now what I can do is I can just click on this build, and what will happen is it will give me an option to save an APK file from this. So let's say I say here test and click on save. And in my case, since there are no errors, so it is getting saved automatically. But I'm sorry, but in your case, there might be some errors due to which you will say that you need to install this, you need to update this and all that stuff. So you need to do that accordingly, okay? So as you can see, in my case, it is getting, all of these things are getting prepared, and the player is getting built. And once it's built, it will be shown as an APK file. Okay. Now one more thing you can do is, instead of building it, you can click on build and run, and when you do that, it will be automatically installed in your Android device and it will automatically run on your Android device. Okay, so let us try this one first and then we're gonna go ahead and do the build and run. Okay, and I think I'm gonna cut it here for the building process. So let's see. Okay, so I did a mistake. Now remember, whenever you're gonna build anything for Android, before building it, you need to do some setup. You need to set up something called bundle identifier, okay? And without setting that, you can't publish it. So let me move my figure right here. And if you go to File, Build Settings, from there you need to click on this Player Settings option, okay? Just click on this Player Settings, and now on the right side you can see the Player Settings option. Now here we have this company name where you can give any company name you want. I can give here Charger Games, and here you can give the name of your app. You can give it anything you want. Here I have given Android Test, and here we can give an icon which will be shown whenever we run it. And here we have this default rotation, which is auto rotation. We're gonna set it portrait. That means even if the device is hold like this, it will not be rotated automatically, okay? Because our game is built for the portrait mode, so whenever we rotate it, it will be in portrait mode as well. And if you click on this publishing settings, okay, not the publishing settings, if you click on this other settings, here you will see in the identification option, we have this bundle identifier, and this is the most important stuff. If you don't set it up, Unity will not be allowed. Unity will not allow you to actually publish this game. So the bundle identifier is something that uniquely recognizes your game or app in the App Store, okay, or in the whole world, because there are so many games and apps. So you need to put something before your game's name so that your game is recognized uniquely. Now the common practice is to write your domain name or your website name in reverse order. So let's say my website name is chargergames.com. So I will write com.chargergames dot the name of the game, so that whenever I build some game, its name will not be clashed with any game that has been built in the world. Okay, it will be always unique because in front of it always there will be com.chargergames. Okay, so it will be unique. So that is why it is recommended to use your own website or domain name or something that's unique to you, so that your games or apps will be uniquely recognized in the App Store. So in my case, I'm gonna write here com.chargergames.test. So I'm gonna write com.chargergames.test, and below you can see the minimum API label. Just leave it whatever it is, and we are done. And if you want to give any icon to your game, you can definitely do that. You can select it and give any icon. Let's say I give it this UI sprite icon, so whenever the game will run, it will check this default icon. Let's see if I have anything else in my okay, let's see if I have anything interesting in my documents so that I can give it. So let me go to okay, so I have this ball icon, and I think I'm gonna give that because that's pretty interesting. So I'm gonna drag and drop this ball right here in the assets. Okay, so now if I select the icon option, I can select the ball. And as you can see, now the ball has been selected as my icon. So now if I click on build and save, now you will see it will be built quickly. Okay. Okay, let's wait for it. Okay, come on, come on, come on. I need that Android game. Okay, so as you can see, it has been successfully built into an APK file. So what you can do is you can just transfer it to your mobile device, either by using USB cable or by using Wi-Fi file transfer, or by just emailing it. You can just send an email to your device and it will be automatically there. Okay, you can do all that stuff and then you can run it on your device. Okay. Now, other than that, one more thing you can do is, instead of doing build, if you click on build and run, what you will see is that, let's let me test 2, or let's test. Okay, if you do that, here's my device, you will see that the game will automatically build and it will be automatically run on your device. It will be automatically installed and run. So let's wait for it. Come on, come on, give me the game, show me that game. Okay, as you can see, it says copying APK package to device. This is my Android device. Come on, man. Why taking so much time? Probably it's taking too much time because the APK size is big. And if you now see my Android device, you can see that now it has been installed and now it is running in my Android device automatically. Okay, so that's the fun. And one more thing, if you go ahead and see the menu, you will see this is the game Android test. As you can see, Android test, this is the game that we have built, and since we have given this icon to the game, so the icon is showing, and if I just click on that, you will see the game is running. Okay, so this way we have created and installed our very first Android game in a real Android device. And if you're interested, you can just give it to your friends or family or wherever you want and just tell them that I have built it. Okay, I'm an Android game developer. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and learned a lot. So thank you very much for watching. So in this video we have learned a lot of stuff. We have learned how to set up Unity, how to set up Android SDK, JDK and all that stuff, and we have learned how to build our very first game from beginning to publishing and setting it up and installing it in our device. Okay, so I hope you guys are very excited. So again, if you want to move further and learn more and build actual game projects, you can just check out any of my courses. The link of the courses will be in the description below, and in the courses we will learn how to build awesome 3D games and awesome 2D games as well. You can build games like Fruit Ninja and Tappy Ball and Zigzag, and you can also build 3D Infinite Runner games, and you can also build flick football games. So if you're interested to learn all this stuff, you can definitely take this course. You can get the link from the description below. You can check out all of my courses from the links in the description below. Okay, so just click on the description and go to the courses and you can take any of these if you're interested. So hope you guys enjoyed these videos, learned something, and I hope you guys are having a great time. So go ahead and build your own Android game and show it to your friends and family. So this is Raja from Charger Games. Hope you guys are having fun. So thanks for watching. See you in the next video. And if you guys haven't subscribed to my channel, just make sure to subscribe and like this video. So thanks for watching. Have a great day and see you later. So keep rocking.